Hello, welcome to Outer East Match of the Round, brought to you by Game Face between Yarra, Glen and Yarra Junction. And it is Yarra Glen there with the first goal. Through Matty Hargrave. And now an opportunity here for Junction to get themselves moving here. And shot a goal here by Jade Rogers goes through. And this is Hargrave once again for Yarra Glen. And she puts it through, and it's a good start here for the River Pigs with a couple of early goals. So Rogers comes back, flicks it out to Davis. Davis, and cut off there by Van der Kolk, and they can move back the other way here. Wanted Collins and Casey. Hibbard, McGurgan, searches around, goes again to Wanton Collins, comes out wide to Hibbard. And now McGurgan to Hargrave, who's having a pretty good season in 2024. She puts this one through for another goal. And out to a 3-1 margin so far, Yarra Glen. So McGurgan once again goes laterally. This is to Casey, Wanton Collins, back to McGurgan. Hargrave, McGurgan again. Shorts it. This is Lara Wanton Collins, who can line them up. This for goal number 4 for the Pigs, and she puts it through. So good start for Yarra Glen. 4-1 reads the scoreboard. As they can move again here, can Yarra Junction. Elwood on the end of this pass, shorts it to Rogers, and Rogers puts that one through. Well, it comes back into the centre once again for McGurgan, who goes out wide. Casey Wanton Collins onto Lara. Puts up the pass on a bad one for McGurgan again. Wanton Collins again with McGurgan as well. And Wanton Collins knocked away beautifully on that occasion there by Chandler. And it comes out of play. So this is Hibbard. Over the top to Wanton Collins, who lines him up and puts it through, and there's another goal for Yarra Glen. 5-2 it is now, so out of the centre there through Mottram. Long pass this time, not a bad one, but it's going to be cut off there on that occasion by Williams. Williams again. Casey Wanton Collins over the top to Lara Wanton Collins to McGurgan, who finds Hargrave. He couldn't take it cleanly. And it comes back to McCormick. Short to Chandler. Chandler back to McCormick dangerously, but McCormick did well to make it work. Now they come in, but with a pass here to Spicer. Davis centres the pass here to Elwood, and Davis just keeps it from going out of play. And now she finds Rogers. And Jade Rogers puts that one through, and there's another goal for Junction. So back in the centre with McGurgan. Wanton Collins comes back to Casey Wanton Collins. Now Hibbard. Hibbard, McGurgan. Wanton Collins underground again to McGurgan. Comes out wide with a pass. It's a good one. And once again, Wanton Collins puts that one through. It's another goal here for Yarra Glen. 6 goals they are now. As they work it around the court here, Davis has Rogers ahead of her. Yeah, just a little bit of confusion as it comes forward to Rogers, who started this game pretty well, and she finds Elwood, and she puts it through. So once again they can get moving here, McGurgan, but the pass spilled by Hibbard comes out of play and comes back to Spicer, who centres it nicely to Chandler. Spicer into Rogers on this occasion. Now Davis searches around, comes all the way back on that occasion once again to Spicer, and the pass going out of play. So good build up there for Yarra Junction, just couldn't finish it off. So they can come out of defence here. Williams, or was that Van der Kolk? To Williams, and now McGurgan onto Casey Wanton Collins once again to Williams. Lara Wanton Collins laterally to Hibbard. Williams again. Been pretty busy in this chain. McGurgan once again. Short to Hibbard and Wanton Collins, who can line them up now and make it 7 goals for Yarra Glen, and she puts it through. So good start this for the River Pigs. Pass affected there by McGurgan and collected nicely by Wanda Collins, but she's called for stepping, and that's a good long pass, and it finds Rogers. And Jade Rogers puts that one through. So McGurgan out of the centre to Hibbard, who searches around for options, goes to Casey, Wanda Collins on to Lara, Wanda Collins out wide to McGurgan, has Hargrave ahead of her, and gets it to her. So Hargrave lines them up and puts it through. And there is another goal for Yarra Glen. 8-5 it is. As they move it around at the moment, Stacey Davis currently with ball in hand for the moment, comes out wide but cut off nicely by McGurgan, waits a moment, finds Wanton Collins back to McGurgan, had Williams beside her but goes further a court this time. Now Casey Wanton Collins back to McGurgan, inboard to Hibbard, Hibbard searches around, finds Wanton Collins, and now once again with McGurgan. So here is Alana McGurgan, can go short to Lara Wanton Collins, and she does just that, and Wanton Collins doesn't score, but Hargrave gets the second attempt. 9-5 it is. So McGurgan in the centre, does that pretty well to Wanton Collins. So Lara goes back to Casey, and now McGurgan finds Hibbard. Hibbard searches ahead. Looks for Hargrave, puts it up, but doing well was Chandler, cut it off, and she'll get it back to on this occasion from Spicer. Davis back to Chandler. Good long pass on this occasion to Rogers. Davis has Elwood ahead of her. So Davis again puts it up for Rogers, who collects it nicely. And a good opportunity this just to get the margin back to 3 goals. And Jade Rogers makes no mistake. So it's back in the centre once again for Mottram. And it's going to come back. So Spicer with the ball in hand on this occasion. Laterally to Chandler. Chandler, good long pass to Davis, and Elwood, who got space out the back and put through another one. There's back-to-back goals for Junction. And back to 2 goals the margin. So not a bad start to this game for the Eagles now. Right in the contest at the minute. McGurgan to Hibbard. Back to McGurgan. And McCormick cuts it off. Not legally though, and Hargrave's going to get it out the back. And puts through another goal as well. So back out to a 3-goal margin for Yarra Glen. So they get the ball moving around at the moment. To Junction, Davis. And now Rogers onto Elwood. And Elwood puts it through, back to 2 goals once again. So lateral pass, Hibbard spilled it and Rogers did well. Went back on that occasion. Here is McCormick. McCormick onto Spicer, and now Chandler. And Spicer. Spicer comes out wide, and it's over the head of Gisberts, who's just come onto the court for Yarra Junction. As we just wait a couple of moments for the ball to come back to court. So Van der Kolk. McGurgan does well. Comes back to Williams. Williams forward to Hibbard. Hibbard all the way back to Casey Wanton Collins, and once again with Hibbard, and now Lara Wanton Collins, who can line them up, but no, goes short to Hargrave, and she puts it through, back out to a 3-goal margin. So Gisbert's in the centre. Does well, shorts it to Davis. Davis waits a moment, then goes long with the pass, and Van der Kolk can't finish off the job. Read it well, got her hands to it, just couldn't keep it in play, so it comes back to Rogers. So Jade Rogers all the way back to Gisbert's, and now she can line them up. So once again, just to get the margin back to 2 goals, doesn't make use of the first attempt, but she does get another crack at this one. And Rogers on this occasion puts it through. And once again, margin back to 2 goals. 11-9 the score. McGurgan once again in the centre. Comes out to Hibbard, goes back to McGurgan, forward to Hargrave. He won't have the shot at goal. Laterally to Wanda Collins, it's got to come back. So McCormick with ball in hand for Junction. Just goes short with the pass on that occasion. Does nicely to Spicer, onto Gisberts. Gisberts will go laterally and once again finding Spicer. Over the top now to Rogers. Rogers comes inboard to Davis. And Rogers just couldn't quite take it cleanly. So a reprieve for Yarra Junction defence comes back to Van der Kolk on the last line. With everything ahead of her. So goes further a court to McGurgan. McGurgan wastes no time as well. Finds Casey Wanda-Collins on to Lara. Then laterally to Hibbard. Hibbard's going to go back to Lara Wanda-Collins. Hargrove just a little bit too far at the score, you would think. And now Hibbard. And here's Wanda-Collins, who started the game well but fakes the pass nicely. And Hargrove probably in a better spot. Can line them up and put it through and gets it back out to 3 goals. So once again, Gisberts for Yarra Junction goes out wide to Davis. Davis just waits a moment, then comes back to Gisberts. Good long pass on this occasion. Rogers searches around. It's going to come back here for Yarra Glen. Wasting no time was Van der Kolk onto Casey Wanda-Collins. Hibbard waits a moment. And contact given away. So once again, Casey Wanda-Collins has Hibbard ahead. So too with Williams, which he goes for McGurgan in the end. Laterally nearly cut off there by Chandler. Couldn't finish it. Now Hargrave puts it through and out to a 4-goal margin now for Yarra Glen. And so McGurgan now with the centre pass. And it's going to be brought forward. So Wanda-Collins. Short to Hibbard, knocked away. Spicer nearly winning it back, but couldn't quite complete the job. McGurgan goes for Hargrave. McCormick got a finger to it. And it is going to go the way of Yarra Junction, so she's done enough, McCormick. Over the top to Spicer. Waits a moment. Good long pass, and that'll work out just fine to Spicer. Back to McCormick. It was Gisbert, sorry, in fact. Here is Chandler. This is Spicer. Chandler once again has Davis head. Goes for her as well. Davis wastes no time getting it to Gisbert and finds Rogers. Needs to put this one through and unable to do so. And Van der Kolk does well the last line. Wastes no time onto Wanda-Collins. Goes further a court. Rogers, does she steal it back? Not legally. So it stays with Yarra Glen. And Williams on this occasion. Williams. Hibbard, who had plenty of space, puts it up. And here is Wanda-Collins, who also had plenty of room and quickly shorts it to Hargrave, who scores the goal and back out to a 5-goal margin. 14-9 it is the way of Yarra Glen. So Gisbert's wasting no time to Davis. And it's going to come back the other way once again. Here is Hibbard once again with plenty of room. McGurgan out wide to Hargrave. Goes back to McGurgan. Searches around, little underground pass. Work to Hibbard and Wanda-Collins. Doesn't want to have the shot at goal. Hargrave's going to get it out the back. And she puts it through. And there's another goal for Yarra Glen's out to 6 goals the margin. And once again, it's in the centre for McGurgan. Wasted no time. Did well to Lara Wanda-Collins. Hargrave got it from Hibbard. And Hargrave doesn't get the goal here. So this is McCormick on the last line for Junction. Goes out to Spicer. Spicer did well to Chandler. Chandler on to Gisberts. Gisberts waited it well to Davis. Davis waits and waits and then finds Elwood. So Davis. Rogers doesn't have the shot at goal. Comes back to Davis. Davis finds Elwood. So important goal this coming up for Yarra Junction, and Jessica Elwood makes no mistake. Gets it back to 5 goals. And once again, Gisbert's in the centre. Good long pass. Can Rogers take it cleanly? No, she can't. Flies over the head and trickles now to play. So once again, Van der Kolk. Short to Williams. Williams again, another short one to McGurgan. McGurgan will go back to Williams. Worked well up the court. Here is Lara Wanda-Collins looking for Hibbard and cleverly cut off though by Spicer. So Junction can go back the other way. McCormick a short one to Chandler. Chandler back to Spicer and once again comes back to McCormick, who eventually finds Chandler. Chandler looking at Spicer but goes much longer to Davis and that'll work out just fine as well. Here is Gisberts. Was that kept in play? And as the umpire say this, it's going to stay with Junction. So Gisberts once again. Underground, McGurgan nearly steals it. Couldn't keep it in play. So Gisberts once again to reload. Finds Elwood and Elwood finds Rogers and Rogers finds the goal. So back to 4 goals the margin. 15-11 it is. So this is McGurgan. Short one is a good one. Wanda-Collins back to Hibbard and Wanda-Collins again. Had Hargrave up ahead, didn't go for a Hibbard. And now Wanda-Collins Unsure where to go here. Goes laterally to McGurgan. And now Lara Wandon-Collins has the shot at goal and makes no mistake. So 16-11 it is at the moment. And Gisbert's once again in the centre. Does well. Davis waits. Goes along with the pass. It's a good one as well to Elwood. Elwood all the way back to Chandler. Now Davis. Davis. Oh, well done, is it? Oh, no, it just slipped through the hands of Van der Kolk. And so it will be a shot at goal. A little bit of confusion here, but Jade Rogers lines them up, puts it through. And a welcome goal there for Yarra Junction. And it is quarter time here at the match of the round in Yarra Glen. It's Alana McGurgan with the centre pass to start off quarter number 2, and she wastes no time. Passing to Hibbard. Hibbard comes out to Wandon-Collins, and once again, Hibbard, little underground pass. Wandon-Collins, Hibbard, Wandon-Collins again, and Hargrave. Chandler got up, but she couldn't steal it, and Maddie Hargrave makes no mistake, puts it through. And early goal there for Yarra Glen. So it's back in the centre here with Mottram. Mottram, Davis. It was nearly a bit too big for her, but she made it work. Elwood presented nicely, goes back to Davis, out wide once again to Mottram, and Rogers in a pretty good position there, can line up the goals, and she puts it through, and it's 17-13 the score at the moment. So good little buffer here for Yarra Glen for the time being. Certainly need to try and keep it though. Yarra Junction have been pretty competitive so far. McGurgan finds Hargrave. And Maddie Hargrave can line them up, and she puts that one through, gets it back to a 5-goal margin for the time being. And once again, it's Mottram with the centre pass, and quickly, waste no time to Rogers. Rogers and Davis, and now Mottram again. Davis, Elwood, back to Davis. Was there contact? Yes, there was, said the umpire. So Davis searches around, and eventually it ends up in the hands of Elwood. But it has to come back to Rogers, so Rogers can line them up and puts it through. And once again, back to a 4-goal margin. So not letting it get away just yet, Yarra Junction, but they've got to string a couple together just to get themselves back in. So Hibbard, Wandon-Collins once again with Hibbard. Here is Hargrave, and now once again Hibbard. Wandon-Collins knocked away, but Wandon-Collins collected it well. And now Maddie Hargrave once again makes no mistake, puts it through, and again it's a 5-goal margin to Yarra Glen. So Mottram comes out wide. Rogers, oh, beautifully cut off on that occasion there, so it's going to come back the other way here once again. So they can move down the court here. Williams, good little pass there. They continue to work it around here to the River Pigs. Wandon-Collins centres it to McGurgan. McGurgan goes back to Wandon-Collins. This to make it 6 goals. Doesn't have the shot at goal though. Comes back to Hibbard. McGurgan again with Lara Wandon-Collins, who can line it up and puts it through. And there's the 6-goal margin. So just slowly building that up a little bit more now are the River Pigs. So once again, McGurgan wastes no time to Lara Wandon-Collins. Short to McGurgan again. Here is Hibbard. Has Hargrave up ahead. This is Eslick. Underground again to McGurgan. Hibbard did well. Goes back to McGurgan. Lara Wandon-Collins once again for 2 goals in a minute. McCormick knocks it away and did well enough to get it onto Mottram. This is Spicer. Did well to find Chandler. Chandler waits a moment. Then comes back to Spicer. Davis. They're inside the attacking third. They come out momentarily. Davis eventually finds a way through. Elwood back to Davis. And now Rogers. And gets another opportunity here, Jade Rogers. So needs to go through this, and she does. Gets the goal, gets it back to 5 goals. And it's Mottram with the centre pass, who finds Davis. Davis goes long, and once again Rogers made it work pretty well. The pass doesn't score the goal, but now Elwood from the other side can put it through. And there's back-to-back goals for Yarra Junction, much needed. So McGurgan can reload out of the centre. Where can she go? Comes out wide. Eslick, can they keep it in play? Yes, they can, but it's cut off. Chandler did well enough. Found Davis. She receives contact. So it'll come back to Chandler, who's got Spicer on her own and goes for her as well. Here is Mottram, who had plenty of room. Fires it into Elwood, who can line them up this for 3 in a row for Junction, and Elwood puts it through. And suddenly Junction have got a bit of momentum. They've got the centre pass, and they're only 3 goals down after trailing by 6 moments ago. McGurgan, though, That was not what they needed. Mottram just being a little bit too cute on that occasion. This is Eslick. Finds Hibbard once again with McGurgan. Hargrave, McGurgan all the way out across once again to Hibbard. Hibbard, Wanton Collins. Couple of 1-2s and she can line them up now. Can Lara Wanton Collins. And she puts it through. So costly mistake there by Mottram, and now McGurgan with a centre pass. Just when Junction were really building. So Eslick. Wanton Collins, Hibbard, knocked away but not legally. So it comes back to Hibbard. Lara Wanton Collins out to McGurgan. Eventually gets it under her control. Underground pass. Wanton Collins, Hargrave. Doesn't quite put it through, but she will get another go. And gets this one, does Maddie Hargrave. So it's a bit of a tough matchup for McCormick. Certainly doesn't have the height matchup at the moment. So Chandler, Spicer. Finds Elwood, comes out wide to Davis. And it comes back to her just receiving contact for the moment. Tries to get it to Elwood and does just that as well. And puts it through. So back to 4 goals at the moment. Once again, McGurgan out wide to Wanton Collins and straight back to McGurgan as well. He worked well down the court, and now once again Hargrave puts it through, and just like that's back out to 5 goals. So 23-8 it is. Mottram does well to Davis. Davis, long pass, and eventually Elwood gets it under her control. The rebound off the post working for her, and she puts it through. So again back to 4 goals. Another quick one. So McGurgan again with the centre pass. Comes out wide to Wanton Collins. That was a good one. Wanton Collins laterally to Eslick. Nearly cut off by Chandler. Just didn't get there in time in the end. Hibbard back to Eslick. And now once again with Hibbard onto Wanton Collins. Puts it up for Hargrave, and she can't take it cleanly. Chandler did well. This is Spicer. Now McCormick back to Spicer. Chandler back to McCormick. Spicer again for a 3rd time. Now Mottram. Goes back to Spicer, fires it in. Elwood collected it nicely. Then she goes all the way back to Davis. Davis wants to put it up. Just goes short though for Rogers, who can line them up here. So this to get it back to 2 goals, and she's put it through. I think it might be 3 goals actually. It was 23 to 19 moments ago. Eslick did well, knocks it away. Davis wanted contact, none forthcoming though. Long pass, Hibbard had plenty of room. Onto Hargrave, Hibbard waits a moment. Wanted Collins, oh the pass had too much on it. So a real reprieve there for Yarra Junction. Spicer. It's going to be brought forward, so this will come back to McCormick. Spicer goes back to McCormick. Mottram. Janelle Chandler did well. Onto Davis. Now once again Spicer fires it into Elwood. Waits a moment, then goes back to Davis, and Rogers has got it. And suddenly Junction are back to 1 goal. Found all the momentum in the game here, so McGurgan just needs to create something out of the centre here. They're just fallen off the last couple of minutes here, Yarra Glen. So Hibbard's got the ball in hand at the moment. She goes short to Wanton Collins, doesn't have the shot at goal. Here is Hargrave. And she puts it through, and in fact it is a 3-goal margin for Yarra Glen. So the scoreboard just not updated there momentarily. It is now. So Davis gets it from Spicer. Mottram did well. Elwood gets out the back. And she can line it up and doesn't put it through. And Vanderkolk collects it nicely. Eslick, it goes over the head. It's anyone's ball. Who wins the foot race? Hibbard did well. Attacked it nicely. Onto McGurgan. Good long pass. Finds Wanton Collins. Comes back to Hibbard. McGurgan again underground. And Mottram nearly cuts it off. It just didn't stay in play for her. So it'll come back to McGurgan. Over the top nicely to Wanton Collins. Doesn't want to have the shot at goal. Goes back to McGurgan. Here is Wanton Collins now. And she puts that one through, back out to a 4-goal margin. So have the response here, do Yarra Glen. And once again, Alana McGurgan. Just a little lateral one there to Williams. Eslick just getting a bit of contact from Davis. McGurgan has Hargrave, goes for her as well. And Wanda Collins does nicely. Doesn't have the shot at goal, comes back to Hibbard. She will now, Wanda Collins, and puts it through. And just like that's back out to a 5-goal margin for Yarra Glen. Moments after Junction got it back within 2. So it's brought forward, comes to Chandler. Mottram fires it in nicely to Rogers. Doesn't look to have the shot at goal. She does now. Doesn't score. It comes out of play. And will fall for Yarra Glen. So this is Van der Kolk. Good long pass, finds McGurgan. Goes short to Williams. And now it's coming back the other way. So Spicer onto Davis. Mottram goes back to Davis. Wants Rogers, who's not going to collect it, but does get a bit of contact. And she can line them up and puts it through and gets it back to 4 goals. So this is McGurgan once again in the centre. Does well to Wanda Collins. Pops it over the top to Hibbard. Now Hargrave. Doesn't like what she's got at the moment. Goes back to McGurgan, who receives contact. And now Wanda Collins lines them up. Puts it through. So 26 or 27 to 22, sorry. So Davis comes back to Mottram. Goes out wide to Elwood. Elwood knocked away. McGurgan did well onto Hibbard. Comes back to McGurgan. Waits a moment. Continues to move forward. Hibbard onto Hargrave. Comes back to Hibbard. Lateral one to McGurgan. Eventually gets it under her control. Searches around. So McGurgan does well. Knocked away from Wanda Collins. Hibbard recovers it. Comes back to McGurgan. And here is Hargrave. And Hargrave puts it through. So McGurgan once again with the centre pass. 6 goals a break it is now for Yarra Glen. Williams back to Hibbard. Hibbard unsure where to go. Nearly cut off, and in the end Rogers doing really well. Gets it to Davis. Davis goes short to Mottram. She goes back to Davis. Now Spicer. Davis again. Chandler on this occasion. Davis laterally, dangerously, and unfortuitously for Yarra Junction goes out of play. So it comes back to Van der Kolk onto Williams. Williams short to Eslick. Eslick waits a moment, then goes short again to Williams. Williams all the way back to Van der Kolk, and again with Williams for a 3rd time. Eslick off balance, just got it away in time. McGurgan got it from Williams, and then she finds Wanda Collins, who goes all the way across to Hibbard. Hibbard puts it up, but doing well was Chandler. Cuts it off. Waste no time onto Spicer. Gisberts, who's back on the court. Davis gets it under her control once again with Gisberts. Looks around, finds Elwood. Won't have the shot at goal. And eventually the frantic bit of play finds Elwood lining up, and Jessica Elwood puts it through. So they get one back to Yarra Junction. 28 to 23. The scoreline at the moment. Eslick, has she done well enough? She really fights for it and doesn't complete the job. So after all that, it does come back to Spicer. Davis eventually controls it. Goes to Elwood. Elwood could have gone out to Rogers, but goes out wide to Gisberts, and then eventually gets it to Rogers, who can light it up and potentially get this back to 4 goals. And it's 27 to 24, reads the scoreboard. So maybe 3 goals the margin for Yarra Glen. We'll find out in a moment. But anyway, it goes over the top. Hargrave recovered it nicely out the back. McGurgan to load them up from outside the circle and gets it to Hargrave nicely. And Hargrave puts it through. So Gisbert's out of the centre onto Davis. Elwood. Davis. Rogers has got it. So once again to try and get it back to 4 goals the margin. She puts it through, Jade Rogers. So important that one for Yarra Junction. McGurgan once again in the centre. Onto Hibbard. Could have gone to Wanda Collins, but she'll go back to Eslick, who waits and waits, and then eventually ahead to McGurgan. Comes out wide to Wanda Collins. Here is Hargrave. So Hargrave once again, all the way back to Hibbard. And short to Wanda Collins. That'll work out just fine. And a rare miss for Wanda Collins. Been pretty good so far today. And this will come back to McCormick. So McCormick out to Spicer, who's got Gisberts up ahead, eventually goes for her. She'll go back to Spicer. She goes back to Gisberts, but they've stuffed it up. It's going to come back the other way. Can McGurgan, or Hibbard, in fact, no, she can't. Couldn't get under her control, and it was nicely cut off by Chandler. Eventually the ball finds its way to Davis. Davis, Elwood, Davis again. Comes out wide, momentary fumble, and once again another stuff up here, and this is going to work out well. Eslick on to Hibbard. Laterally to McGurgan. McGurgan's going to go back to Eslick. Good long pass to Wanda Collins. Can she go to Hargrave? Decides against it for now. Hibbard onto McGurgan. She does put it up for Hargrave, and it goes out of play. And a reprieve for Junction. So this is McCormick, who pops it over the top nicely. To Spicer it was. So it comes back to Chandler. So Chandler onto Spicer. Spicer back to Chandler. Now Gisberts waits a moment. And Davis receives contact. So Chandler out wide. Good one to Rogers and Elwood, who can get this back to 3 goals, and she's put it through. So really not going away at the moment at Yarra Junction. Seem to have the answers at the moment. Davis, good one to Rogers, back to Davis. Goes out wide to Gisberts. Gisberts puts it up and Elwood can't take it cleanly. And Yarra Glen can reload. So this is Van der Kolk. Nice short one to Williams. Eslick might have got contact, but the umpire calls him to go. Williams, good long pass to Hibbard. Hibbard waits and eventually does well to find Wanton Collins. Here is McGurgan. Could have gone to Hargrave, but goes out wide to Hibbard. And now Hargrave on the end of this pass. And no goal. Chandler did well. Got it on to Gisberts. Gisberts waits a moment. Anyone's ball here and contact given away. So it'll come back to Spicer, who goes short to Chandler. Chandler back to Spicer. All the way across to Gisberts. Gisberts. Now done that pretty well for the moment. And, oh, Gisberts just keeps it in play. No, she didn't. So costly mistake that one. Giving the ball back to Yarra Glen. So Van der Kolk. Eventually he's brought forward, but Rogers cuts it off, does nicely. It's anyone's ball once again, though, and another mistake here for Yarra Junction. They've just forced the turnover and coughed it straight up. So now Williams, good pass to McGurgan. McGurgan finds Wanton Collins, good long one on this occasion to Hibbard. Hargrave makes them pay, gets it back out to 4 goals. So the opportunity's there for Junction, just not seizing them. And so now McGurgan to the centre pass. And Williams brought forward, goes short to Hibbard. Hibbard onto Wanton Collins, laterally to McGurgan, will go back to Wanton Collins. So about to get second half action underway. It's Yarra Glen by 4 goals. That was Gisberts with a centre pass, and she wastes no time finding Elwood. Elwood does well. She comes back. It stays in play. Van der Kolk cuts it off nicely, and on the counter-attack now, Yarra Glen. McGurgan did well. Onto Williams now. Wanted Collins. Wastes no time to Hibbard. Hibbard back to Williams. Now McGurgan with plenty of room. Here is Hargrave. This would be a good start for Yarra Glen, and she puts it through. Maddie Hargrave. So they can make it work here. Wanton Collins onto McGurgan. And now Hargrave. McCormick did well, got to the front, but she couldn't complete the job. Now Wanton Collins. Out of play, and it stays with Yarra Glen. So Hibbard, and here is Hargrave. So this to make it 6 goals the margin, and she puts it through. So back in the centre with Gisberts. Comes out wide. Rogers does well. On to Gisberts once again. Pops it over the top to Davis, who finds Rogers. And she gets it back to 5 goals the margin. So important one there for Yarra Junction. And it comes back to McGurgan. McGurgan, Wanton Collins. Hibbard, Wanton Collins. Comes back. Wanton Collins got it from Slick. Now Hibbard. Looked at Hargrave. Eventually puts it up. McCormick. Doesn't finish off the job, so it's going to come back. So now Wanton Collins. This to make it 6 goals, and she puts it through. 33 to 27 it is now, so it comes back to Gisberts in the centre. Does well to Davis. Laterally to Rogers. Rogers back to Davis. Eslick did well, just not quite well enough. Gave away contact, so it comes back to Davis. Davis does well. This is Elwood, but they've coughed it up. Here you have Yarra Junction. So now Van der Kolk to McGurgan. Up the court, off the hands, and it's going to stay with Yarra Glen. So this is Hibbard. And that out of play, but a little bit of contact once again given away there. So McGurgan does well, finds Hargrave. And she puts it through. So 7 goals it is at the moment. So this is Wandon Collins. Just starting to get away here. Yarra Glen. Wandon Collins gets it back. This to make it 8 goals. McCormick did well off the post and gets it away. So now this is Spicer. On to Gisbert's good long pass. Finds Rogers. Short one to Davis was a good one. Here is Elwood. Davis. Rogers. So important goal coming up here for Yarra Junction. Rogers puts it through. Back to 6 goals the margin. And Gisbert has the centre pass. So I need to take the next opportunity here. Do Yarra Junction. Contact given away there on Davis. So it'll come back to Spicer. Or Chandler, in fact. Chandler assesses the options. Does well to Gisbert, who goes underground to Elwood. Stolen, though, by Van der Kolk. Not legally. So still with ball in hand at the moment are Yarra Junction. So Rogers can make it back-to-back goals. She does just that. So back to 5 goals the margin. 34-29 it is. So once again, just a good little passage here for Junction. Can they keep it up? That's the question. Eslick assesses and eventually finds McGurgan. Finds Wandon Collins. Comes back to Williams. Back to McGurgan. Now Hargrave. Wandon Collins. McGurgan. Here is Wandon Collins, who can line them up, and she puts it through. 35-29 it is. So once again, Gisberts does well to Davis. Davis, Elwood. Davis again. And Elwood again. And she gets it back to 5 goals, 35-30 it is. So McGurgan comes out wide. This is Wandon Collins on to Hibbard. Back to Wandon Collins and goes to Hargrave. And Maddie Hargrave finishes it off, puts it through, back out to 6 goals, 36-30 it is. Once again, it's Gisberts in the centre. So it does well. Nicely onto Davis. Rogers spills it, eventually gets it under her control. She's got it again, Rogers. So Rogers comes back and Davis puts it up. It's off hands. And it's going to go the way of Yarra Glen. So this is Van der Kolk. Does well. Short to Williams. Van der Kolk once more. Long passes over the head of Eslick. So a little reprieve there for Junction. This is Spicer. And the hands of Hibbard. So it stays with Junction. Spicer once again back to Chandler. Chandler all the way back to McCormick and back to Chandler again. Chandler. Gisberts. Spicer looks at Davis. Eventually goes for it. Now out wide to Rogers. Rogers again to Davis. And here is Rogers once more. And she puts it through. Gets it back to 5 goals. So they take the long way to Yarra Junction, but eventually they get the goal. Hibbard. Wandon Collins, McGurgan, all the way back to Hibbard. Hibbard, Wandon Collins, couple of 1-2 passes, and now Wandon Collins. No, they've coughed it up, so McCormick has to wait. Eventually goes to Chandler, and they've coughed it up. Costly mistake. It'll come back to Wandon Collins. He goes to McGurgan. Now Wandon Collins can line them up and puts through another goal. So once again, back out to 6 goals the margin. So Gisberts does well. On to Davis and then Rogers back to Davis. Wants to go to Rogers and eventually that'll work out. She goes short to Elwood and Jessica Elwood doesn't put through the first one. Does put through the second one. So back to 5 goals the margin. So once again, McGurgan with a centre pass. Does well to Hibbard. Hibbard will go lateral to Wandon Collins and then finds McGurgan once more. Wandon Collins, a little underground one again to McGurgan. To Wandon Collins, who can line them up once more. And she's just not missing today, Lara Wandon Collins. Everything absolutely on target. So Mottram comes back onto the court for this centre pass. Pops it over the top to Davis. Pass was affected. It's anyone's ball. And doing well was Eslick. Gets it moving back the other way. So Williams has got it, goes to Wandon Collins, McGurgan. Wandon Collins again, laterally again to Eslick, who started this chain of play. McGurgan comes out wide, does well to Hibbard. Hibbard, a couple of 1-2s again with Wandon Collins, who can line it up, but decides to go back to McGurgan, and now Hargrave can send it out to 7 goals, and she does just that, puts it through, and it's a 7-goal margin. 39-32 it is, so McGurgan comes out wide again to Hibbard. Hibbard inboard. It's a good one to Williams. Williams finds Wandon Collins. So it comes back to Williams. McGurgan receive contact. And does well. This is Wandon Collins. Goes back to McGurgan. McGurgan short to Hargrave. And Hargrave puts it through. 8 goals the margin. So Davis, Rogers, back to Davis. Davis does well. And finds Elwood, who puts it through. And once again, important goal there. So 40 to 33 it is at the moment. Wandon Collins waits and waits and then eventually goes short to McGurgan. And now she'll call for it back, Wandon Collins, but McGurgan decides to go to Hibbard. Wandon Collins now, though, can line him up and puts it through. And just like that's back out to 8 goals the margin. So Mottram, short to Davis, pops it over the top. Here is Rogers and this will come back. And Rogers puts it through, back to 7 goals again, 41 to 34 it is. So Lana McGurgan once again in the centre, all the way back, and eventually it does work to Williams. Wandon Collins goes back to Williams. Hibbard, McGurgan, Hargrave. Lines it up and doesn't put it through. McCormick gets it off the post, waste no time. On to Gisberts, was it? Gisberts has moved into wing defence, waste no time, does well. To Rogers. Davis it was, in fact, goes all the way out to Mottram, and she finds Rogers, and Rogers does not find the goal. And Williams cuts it off, goes to McGurgan. McGurgan waits and then goes all the way back to Vanderkolk. Vanderkolk on to Williams. And Williams again getting it from Vanderkolk. This is Eslick, pops it over the top and contact. So Eslick short to McGurgan. Now Hargrave finds Wandon Collins. She goes back to Hibbard and then Hibbard goes back to Wandon Collins. And then just another short pass to Hargrave, who puts it through and once again gets the margin out to 8 goals, 42 to 34 it is. Rogers, long pass, and it's kept in play, and Elwood couldn't complete it. So it'll come back to Vanderkolk. And they've really started to take control here now, have Yarra Glen. Vanderkolk laterally to McGurgan, up the court to Hibbard, collected it nicely. Eslick right on a measure here, finds Hargrave, just goes short again to McGurgan. McGurgan puts it up. Here is Hibbard. Hargrave could line them up. Eventually she decides to. She won't get the first attempt, but the second does go through, and it's a 10-goal margin now, 43 to 34. As McGurgan has it knocked away, and that was nicely done. The end by Gisbert's onto Davis. Now Rogers puts too much on it. Can Mottram keep it in? No, she can't. So Vanderkolk to Williams, to Eslick, nearly cut off by Rogers, but not in the end. McGurgan, good pass that was to Hibbard. Hibbard now to Williams. Williams. Hibbard and now McGurgan. McGurgan, Wandon Collins a couple of times. And that one goes through. So 44 to 34, margin out to 10 goals now. Really starting to get away from Junction. Mottram does well, but it was cut off by Eslick. So now Junction really on the back foot here as Wandon Collins can put him inside the attacking third. They continue to move it around. McGurgan looking for Hibbard. And that one goes through. So Hargrave, another goal. 11 goals it is now, 45 to 34. And McGurgan once again with the centre pass. Finds Hibbard, goes back to Williams, who spilled it. Didn't matter too much in the end, though. So Wandon Collins looking for Hargrave and gets it to her. And another goal for Maddie Hargrave. 12 goals the margin now, 46 to 34. It's really unravelling now for the Eagles, who are brought forward here for the moment. Chandler. So it comes back, and here is Elwood. Much needed goal this for Yarra Junction. She does put it through. So 46-34 reads the scoreboard again. Not sure if that's been fully updated, but anyway, it doesn't matter because Maddie Hargrave lines up the goals once again, puts her another goal. And according to the scoreboard, it is 13 goals the margin. So Davis got it from Mottram. Pass goes up. Rogers eventually gets it in her grasp and she puts it through. So back to 12 goals for the moment. So McGugan with the centre pass does well. Hibbard back to Wandon Collins. Wandon Collins. Williams. Wandon Collins again. Just searches for options. Eventually decides Hibbard was the one. McGurgan goes back to Hibbard. Hibbard short to Wandon Collins. And again with Wandon Collins, who won't line him up. Goes back to Hibbard again for a third time. Wandon Collins, now she'll line them up and puts through another goal. Back to 13 goals the margin, 48-35. So once again they get moving here. Rogers, Mottram, Davis, long pass. Anyone's ball here. Vanderkolk keeps it in. Gave away contact though, so it comes back to Rogers, who can line them up, and Jade Rogers puts that one through. So they get one back to Junction, 48-36 it is now. McGurgan onto Wandon Collins. All the way back to Williams. Wandon Collins, McGurgan. Knocked away by McCormick. Did she keep it in? Umpire said yes, but then she's turned it over. Back to McGurgan. Will go to Wandon Collins. Does just that. Wandon Collins once again puts it through. 49-36 it is. Knocked away. McGurgan does well. Onto Hargrave. She'll go back to McGurgan. Wandon Collins, who can line up once again and puts through another one. 50-36 it is now. So McGurgan just goes short there to Williams. Now Eslick has Wandon Collins with a bit of room, who pops it over the top to Hargrave, who can line them up from here. And Maddie Hargrave doesn't put it through. McCormick can cut it off, goes on to Chandler, and that'll do us for three-quarter time. Final quarter action underway. It's Mia Mottram with a centre pass. It's Yarra Glen by 14 goals. So Mottram gets it back and goes to Davis, through the hands of Elwood, but then into the hands of Rogers. And Rogers puts it through. So good start there for Junction. First goal of the last quarter, back to 13 goals the margin. So it's probably more just about limiting the damage here now for the Eagles. It's probably going to be too much of a bridge to cross. As McGurgan, it's knocked away. McCormick gets under control, but it does have to come back. So Wandon Collins, who's been a dead eye all day, hasn't missed. And I put the Moz on her. There's the commentator's curse. She has missed on that occasion. So McCormick on to Rogers. Gisberts. Mottram does well. Eventually finds Elwood, who comes out wide to Davis. Davis waits all the way across to Mottram, and here is Rogers. So this for back-to-back goals. And they get one, so 50-38. They've stuffed up the scoreboard there once again. It's knocked away, Vanderkolk. And it eventually ends up in the hands of Vanderkolk, who finds McGurgan. McGurgan does well. So this is Casey Wandon Collins, who's back on the court. To McGurgan. Puts it up, and it's going to trickle out of play. Wandon Collins. All the way out to McGurgan. Here's Lara Wandon Collins. Chandler couldn't get it. Nearly cut it off, but Lara Wandon Collins makes no mistake here. Puts it through. 51-38 it is. Here is McGurgan. Lara Wandon Collins on to Hibbard, on to Hargrave. And Hargrave puts it through. Make that 52-38. Gisberts pops it over the top to Rogers. Rogers back to Davis. And trickles out of play. So it stays with Junction for the moment. Rogers. Cut off nicely by Vanderkolk, so they're on the counter-attack here. This is Lara Wandon Collins, goes to Casey. And then once again with Casey Wanda-Collins. Got it from Williams. Williams again. Oh, Chandler has cut it off, not legally. So Williams. So 52-39 on the scoreboard. McCormick did well, got the hand in and knocked it away. It's currently with Gisberts. Comes all the way back to McCormick. Now Davis. Chandler. Gisberts. Back to Chandler. Chandler again with Gisberts. Davis. Good pass that occasion there to Rogers. Rogers will put it up for Elwood. He got a bit of contact on the way through. So started this last quarter pretty well so far, Junction. 52-39 the scoreboard. Puts that one through. It's 52-40 now. So back to 12 goals the margin at the moment. So it's McGurgan in the centre. On to Wanden-Collins. Hibbard. Comes back to Casey Wanden-Collins. Hibbard again to McGurgan. McGurgan to Lara Wanden-Collins, who can line him up from here. Decides not. And Hibbard in a little bit of trouble, but she eventually cleans it up. And now Wanden-Collins still won't have the shot at goal. Still won't have the shot at goal again. And now McCormick almost cut it off. And now Hargrave will line up the goal. And Hargrave will put it through. Back to 13 goals the margin, 53-40. Mottram, Rogers, Davis. On to Elwood. It's over the head. And Vanderkolk can just let it trickle out. And reclaim possession for Yarra Glen. So Vanderkolk. Short to Williams, back to Vanderkolk, waits a moment, all the way across to Casey Wanden-Collins. McGurgan got it from Williams, now Lara Wanden-Collins, all the way out to Hibbard. Waits a moment, this is McGurgan. Wanden-Collins out wide, this is Hibbard. And now Wanden-Collins finishes it off, back out to 14 goals, 54-40 it is now. Has McGurgan once again with a centre pass. Wanden-Collins over the top to Hibbard. Hibbard waits and then finds Hargrave. And Hargrave, just like that, can make it 15 goals the margin. So back in the centre. Mottram did well to Davis. And now Rogers back to Mottram. Davis can put it up. It just goes short. And that's a good pass as well. To Elwood, who doesn't put away the first opportunity, but does make use of the second opportunity. So 55-41 the score it is at the moment. So working it around for the time being. Wanden-Collins out wide, McGurgan. Wanden-Collins and McGurgan were working it around at the moment. Now Wanden-Collins puts it through. 15 goals the margin, 56-41 it is. So once again, Davis, good long pass. Rogers goes back to Davis. Gets it under her control. And Vanderkolk, brilliant, cuts it off on the counter-attack here. So Wanden-Collins laterally to McGurgan. McGurgan does well onto Hibbard, knocked away by Gisberts, not legally. Or was it? There we go. So it comes back for McCormick, who does well to Chandler. Chandler, Gisberts, Davis, Mottram. And Vanderkolk again cuts it off. A couple of great moments in this last quarter. McGurgan wastes no time onto Casey Wanden-Collins over the head of Hibbard. And so McCormick now with another opportunity to reload Junction. Goes laterally to Chandler. Chandler again with McCormick. And then Chandler again. Over the top now to Mottram. Mottram again pops it over the top to Chandler. Davis laterally to Gisberts. Davis again. It was off hands. Whose hands was it? Williams. So it stays with Rogers, who does well to find Elwood. And Elwood puts it through. And gets it back to 14 goals the margin. So once again, it's McGurgan with the centre pass. Short. McGurgan gets it from Wanden-Collins. Goes back to her. Mottram looked to have cut off, just not legally. So it comes back. Pass goes up and trickles out of play. So this is McCormick on the last line. Just goes short with the pass to Chandler. Chandler onto Gisberts. Once again, Chandler. Gisberts eventually gets under her control. Rogers onto Davis. Anyone's ball here. Elwood does well to track it back. Then all the way across here to Mottram. McGurgan gets a hand in and takes it out of play. So Mottram tucked in the corner. Shorts the pass off the hands of McGurgan into Davis, and she looks for Elwood, and I think that was off the hand of Vanderkolk, so it's still with Junction. Rogers on this occasion. All the way back to Mottram, but Vanderkolk cleverly cuts it off, and they're on the counter-attack once again. Casey Wanda-Collins finds McGurgan. Now Lara Wanda-Collins over the top to Hibbert. Hibbert nearly lost it. Keeps possession for the time being. So now Wanda-Collins once again comes back to McGurgan, and then she goes back to Wanda-Collins, and she puts it through. Back to 15 goals the margin. 57-42 it is. So they go back to Chandler. Chandler short to Gisberts. Mottram once again short to Davis. Long pass, and just no talk there between Rogers and Elwood. Just let it go out of play. And here is Vanderkolk short to Williams and Vanderkolk, and now Casey Wanda-Collins. Laterally to Williams. Wanda-Collins again. Long pass looking for Hibbert, and Gisberts gives away contact. So Williams to Hibbert, to Lara Wanda-Collins, back to Hibbert. She'll go to Wanda-Collins again, and then again to Hibbert, and then she finds Hargrave. So they've found a way through here of Yarra Glen, and Hargrave puts it through. McCormick knocks it away, but couldn't get it to Mottram. McGurgan cuts it off. Wanda-Collins back to McGurgan. Short to Lara Wanda-Collins. Knocked out of the hands of Hibbert. And not legally, so this will come back to Hibbert, who just goes with a short pass to Hargrave, who can make it 16 goals the difference. And it does just that, so 58-42 it is now. So really just starting to build the percentage up a bit here, Yarra Glen, if they can keep scoring the goals. Wanda-Collins comes back, that was Casey. Back to Lara. Now Hibbert. Lara Wanda-Collins once again. Hibbert, Hargrave, knocked away by Chandler, but cleverly cut off again by Wanda-Collins. Hibbert and Wanda-Collins again. And Wanda-Collins puts it through, make that 17 goals in the margin. 59-42 it is now. So Mottram to Davis out of the centre. Waits all the way across to Gisberts. And Davis, nicely done to Elwood, who doesn't have the shot at goal. This is anyone's ball. Has Rogers got it? Yes, she has. So very well collected there by Rogers. Didn't really get a good look at it, but made it work. So McGurgan shorts the pass to Hibbert, who can keep it in play. Gets it back to Casey Wanda-Collins. Williams, Wanda-Collins. Casey onto Lara. Casey goes back to Lara, and then Lara back to Casey, and so on. Wanda-Collins again. Put too much on it, and it finds its way out of play, so McCormick will take it. Just goes laterally to Chandler. Chandler will go back to McCormick. On to Gisberts, and it finds its way out of play. Stays with Junction though. So this is Chandler. Good long pass it was. Mottram. Cut off again by Vanderkolk. On to Wanda-Collins. Lara to Casey, and then Casey to Lara. Lateral one to Williams. Waits a moment. Here's Casey Wanda-Collins once again. McGurgan. On to Hibbert, and now Hargrave, who makes it 17 goals the difference once again. 60-43 the margin. So Mottram once again out of the centre. Davis doing nicely. Back to Rogers. Davis waits and then finds Rogers, who can get it back to 16 goals. No, and Vanderkolk cuts it off. Gets her balance eventually. Pass was slightly affected. Davis gets the hand in. Can't finish the job. So once again, Vanderkolk out wide to Casey Wanda-Collins. Short to McGurgan. On to Lara Wanda-Collins. Lara goes back to Casey. She looks to go to Hibbert, but then goes back to Lara. Williams, McGurgan. Again with Wanda-Collins. McGurgan. Can just go short to Wanda-Collins, who can line up for another goal and puts it through. 61-43 it is now. So McGurgan again out of the centre does well. Hibbert. Wanda-Collins puts it up, and here is Hargrave. And she puts it through. 62-43 it is now. Comes out wide under the control of Davis for the moment. Got a bit of contact there from Wanda-Collins, so it comes back to Chandler. Chandler, Mottram, good pass. Here is Elwood. And she can get it back to 18 goals. 62 to 44 it is now. So back with McGurgan in the centre. Short, it's knocked away by Chandler. And I've got myself into the action there as well on that occasion. So it comes back to Casey Wandon-Collins. So it comes to Wandon-Collins, puts it up, and there is Hargrave. And Hargrave puts it through, back out to a 19-goal margin. 63 to 44 it is. Mottram to Rogers, on to Davis eventually. Davis gets it under her control, puts it up, and nicely done Rogers. Gets it under her control, puts it through, and back to 18 goals the margin. 63 to 45 it is now. So once again, McGurgan out of the centre. Waste no time to Wandon-Collins. On to McGurgan. Back to Wandon-Collins. Knocked away by Mottram. And it'll come back to McGurgan. Well, Wandon-Collins, in fact, she will go back to McGurgan, though. Then back to Wandon-Collins, who lines it up and puts it through. So back to 19 goals the margin. 64 to 45 it is. Gisbert's long pass, nice one. Shorts the pass, it's going to trickle out of play on this occasion. And now this is Elwood, and Elwood puts it through. Once again back to 18 goals, 64 to 46 here. So McGurgan, Wandon-Collins. Casey to Lara, McGurgan, out wide to Hibbard, and short to Hargrave, who again just had a little bit of room to work with. Doesn't get this one, Maddie Hargrave, but she's going to go again here, and this time she does put it through. So back out to 19 goals, 65 to 46 it is now. And we're back in the centre once again. Davis waits and then goes to Rogers, then goes back to Davis, all the way across to Mottram, who puts it up, and Rogers did well. Collects it nicely, puts it through. Back to 18 goals once again, so 65 to 47 it is now. So McGurgan in the centre. So Casey Wandon-Collins, or was Hibbert in fact, and that'll do us. And a strong victory here by Yarra Glen. It was pretty evenly contested in the first half, but the River Pigs really coming away in that second half to win by 18 goals. A strong victory by them. 7 wins it is for them now this season.
Yeah.